What if the most profound personal growth a Sigma female experiences comes not from her first love, but her second? It's not what you think. Her second love isn't just another relationship, it's a crucible for deep personal growth and a journey of self-discovery. So, what makes the second love so different and so important? Let's talk about it. Look, love changes you. Every single time. But for Sigma females, the change hits deeper. Today's video isn't just for Sigma women, it's for every woman who's ever loved too hard, healed too slow, and finally learned how to love again. Because second love, it's not a replacement, it's a rebirth. Most people think your first love is the big one, the one that defines you, marks your heart forever. But that's not always true, especially for Sigma females. See, the first love often feels magical, until it teaches you everything you didn't know about yourself. It's emotional, raw, sometimes painful. But it's the second love that shows what real connection feels like, when you're finally whole. Now let's hit the real reasons behind it. 1. The first love breaks the illusion. The first love breaks the illusion. It's the moment when everything she ever believed about love collides with reality. At first it feels pure, magical, almost cinematic. The Sigma female gives it her all, her time, her trust, her heart. She dives in deep, believing that kind of love will last forever. She sees the best in him, even when he's not showing his best self. She tells herself, this is what love is supposed to feel like, intense, passionate, all-consuming. But the truth? It's an illusion built on hope more than understanding. The first love for a Sigma female often happens before she fully knows herself. She's curious, open, maybe even a little naive. She wants connection, but she hasn't yet learned how to protect her energy. So when love comes, she doesn't hold back. She gives. She gives until she's empty, thinking that's what devotion means. And when it ends, the fall hits hard. It's not just losing someone, it's losing the story she built in her mind. The story where love fixes everything. The story where loyalty guarantees happiness. That heartbreak hits deeper because Sigma females love differently. They don't do half-hearted connections. They love like it's sacred. So when the illusion breaks, it's not just pain, it's awakening. She starts to see things clearly. The things she once romanticized now look like red flags she ignored. The moments she thought were passion now look like emotional imbalance. She realizes that not every deep connection is healthy. Not every person who says I love you means it the way she does. And that realization stings. It shakes her confidence, but it also frees her. Because for the first time, she starts asking the right questions. What do I really want in love? What do I deserve? What's real and what's just attachment? These questions become her foundation for emotional maturity. The first love breaks her open, but it also rebuilds her from the inside out. She learns that love shouldn't take her peace to prove it's real. She learns that love isn't supposed to hurt more than it heals. And she learns that self-respect isn't negotiable, even when the heart is involved. The illusion breaking is painful, yes, but it's necessary. It's the universe's way of stripping away everything fake, everything surface level, everything she thought she needed to be loved. It's her emotional graduation. After the heartbreak, the Sigma female walks through a quiet phase. She's not bitter, she's reflective. She starts focusing on herself, not in a selfish way, but in a grounded, self-aware way. She realizes that her love isn't the problem, her boundaries were. That's when she begins to rebuild her standards. She no longer confuses chaos with chemistry. She doesn't crave being understood by everyone. She values being understood by the right one. Her first love showed her how easily love can blur into illusion, but it also showed her what truth feels like, the kind that stays after the fantasy fades. That's why the first love matters. It's not the one she keeps, it's the one that teaches her who she is. So, Sigma females, can you relate to realizing your value after heartbreak? If this resonates, drop a like. I'd love to hear your story. All right, let's move on. 2. Sigma females finally healed enough to love right. The Sigma female's finally healed enough to love right, and that changes everything. Before, love was something she tried to use as a bandage. She thought maybe the right person could fill the empty spaces she hadn't yet learned to face. But now, she's done running from herself. Healing taught her that real love doesn't start with someone else. It starts with peace within. She's no longer looking for validation or trying to prove she's lovable. She knows she is, even when she's alone. That's the difference. Her second love isn't born from loneliness. It's born from clarity. The Sigma female has sat through her silence. She's cried the kind of tears that come from realizing you gave too much to someone who gave too little. She's gone through the nights when she couldn't sleep, the mornings when she had to pretend she was fine, the days when she couldn't recognize herself in the mirror. And through all of that pain, she didn't just move on, she grew up. She faced her patterns, her triggers, her fears. She stopped asking, "Why didn't they love me enough?" and started asking, "Why didn't I love myself enough to walk away sooner?" That shift right there is what healing looks like. It's not about never feeling pain again. It's about learning how to feel it without letting it control you. Now, when love comes around again, she's ready, but not desperate. She knows how to enjoy someone's presence without losing her own identity. She knows that love doesn't need to be loud or chaotic to be real. It can be calm, steady, safe. The Sigma female now protects her peace like it's sacred because she's worked hard to build it. She doesn't allow just anyone into her world anymore. If someone wants access to her heart, they need to match her energy, not drain it. And when she finally lets someone in, it's not because she's afraid of being alone. It's because she sees potential for something meaningful. The second love hits different because this time she's emotionally fluent. She doesn't rush. She doesn't chase closure. She doesn't confuse attention for affection. She takes her time because she knows what's at stake: her peace, her power, her self-respect. Healing taught her that real love isn't supposed to rescue her. It's supposed to meet her where she already stands strong. And that's what makes the second love powerful. It's not about completion, it's about connection. When a Sigma female heals, she becomes selective in the best way. She knows that being single isn't empty, it's intentional. So when she finally decides to love again, it's with her eyes open, her heart steady, and her boundaries firm. She's not looking for excitement anymore. She's looking for alignment. Her second love isn't about rewriting her past. It's about honoring her growth. And because she's healed, she finally knows what real love feels like. Peace, not pain. 3. She knows her worth. Now. She knows her worth now, and that's exactly why everything about the way she loves has changed. The Sigma female doesn't beg anymore. She doesn't shrink herself just to make someone else comfortable. The days of explaining her value to people who never deserved her in the first place are over. She used to think that love meant proving her loyalty, even when it hurt. She thought that staying through chaos made her strong, but now she knows better. The Sigma female understands that walking away from what disrespects her isn't weakness, it's self-respect in action. She doesn't need to raise her voice or fight for attention anymore. Her energy already speaks for her. She's done trying to earn love by overgiving. She's learned that people who truly value her will never make her beg for bare minimum effort. This realization didn't come easy. It came after heartbreak, after silence, after realizing she kept pouring into cups that were never meant to hold her. The Sigma female used to mistake tolerance for patience and endurance for love. She believed that maybe if she just loved harder, they'd finally see her worth. But life taught her the opposite. Love shouldn't make you question your value. It should remind you of it. So now, she's different. She's not the girl waiting for a text, rereading messages, wondering what she did wrong. She's the woman who knows her energy is rare, and not everyone deserves access to it. When someone treats her like she's replaceable, she doesn't argue. She disappears, because she finally knows that not every connection deserves a second chance. Knowing her worth has made her selective, not cold. She doesn't reject people out of pride. She protects her peace out of wisdom. The Sigma female understands that love isn't supposed to cost her dignity. She's learned to measure connection by consistency, not promises. She's learned that effort means more than empty words. And when she meets someone new, she watches how they handle her boundaries. Because boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They separate the ones who are curious from the ones who are serious. And the Sigma female only has time for the serious. Her worth isn't tied to how much she gives anymore. It's tied to how she values herself. That's why her second love feels different. It's not about convincing anyone to choose her. It's about choosing herself first. She no longer mistakes attention for affection or attachment for love. She sees through manipulation because she's seen it all before. The Sigma female's confidence doesn't come from being wanted. It comes from knowing she doesn't need to be. She's solid, grounded, and aware of her own magic. That's her power. The right person won't need to be reminded of her value. They'll recognize it immediately. And if they don't, she's fine walking away, because the Sigma female finally understands. Losing someone who couldn't see her worth isn't a loss at all. Quick pause, ladies. If you're loving how Sigma females start choosing love intentionally instead of relying on someone else, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next empowering points. And leave a comment if you've ever realized you were chasing the wrong kind of love. Cool, let's keep going. 4. Sigma females' communication is mature. Sigma females' communication is mature, and it changes everything about how she connects in love. Before, words were often rushed, unfiltered, or filled with emotion she couldn't control. She might have said things in anger or stayed silent out of fear, letting problems fester instead of being addressed. Early relationships taught her how damaging unclear or reactive communication could be. She remembers the fights that went in circles, the misunderstandings that escalated because she couldn't express what she felt without guilt or shame. She used to assume that love meant tolerating confusion or walking on eggshells. But now, the Sigma female has learned that expressing herself clearly is not only her right, it's her responsibility to herself and her partner. She doesn't hide feelings anymore. She doesn't pretend everything is fine when it's not. She doesn't allow passive-aggressive patterns to creep in, because she knows that vague hints never build understanding. They build frustration and resentment. The Sigma female understands the power of timing, tone, and honesty. She knows that saying the wrong thing at the wrong moment can escalate conflict unnecessarily, but withholding truth creates invisible walls that grow over time. So she speaks thoughtfully but firmly. She listens as much as she talks. Listening isn't passive, it's an active practice. The Sigma female pays attention to tone, emotion, and intent, not just the words themselves. She doesn't just wait for her turn to speak. She genuinely absorbs what the other person is saying. And that's why her communication is mature. She approaches conversations with clarity, not defensiveness. She separates emotion from truth, opinion from fact. She doesn't let fear of rejection stop her from being honest. If something bothers her, she says it respectfully. If something excites her, she shares it freely. She doesn't manipulate or guilt her partner into understanding her. She explains, she asks, she collaborates. And when the other person listens and responds in kind, she recognizes that as a sign of compatibility, not just affection. Sigma female's communication is also proactive. She doesn't wait until small issues become mountains. She addresses patterns, tendencies, and recurring frustrations early on. She sets expectations clearly, not as ultimatums, but as boundaries. And because of this, her relationships feel safer and more grounded. Her partner can rely on her honesty without fear of hidden agendas. She communicates not to win arguments, but to build connection. That's the shift. Communication is no longer a battlefield, it's a bridge. Every word she speaks has intention, every pause has purpose. She's learned that expressing herself fully doesn't push people away. It attracts the ones capable of meeting her on her level. And because Sigma female's communication is mature, her second love is richer. Misunderstandings are fewer, clarity is higher, and connection is deeper. Conversations feel meaningful instead of draining, empowering instead of confusing. That's why this point matters. Maturity in communication allows her to love fully without compromising her essence, without losing herself in someone else, and without settling for less than she deserves. Her voice is her power, and now it's unshakable. 5. Her mind leads, not just her heart. Her mind leads, not just her heart, and that's a shift only the Sigma female fully understands. Before, she may have let emotions dictate decisions, allowing feelings to override logic and reason. She's been there, falling for someone simply because of chemistry, excitement, or a spark she mistook for lasting connection. The heart is intoxicating, especially when she's young or still learning herself, and it's easy to let it guide every choice. But after experiences with heartbreak and self-reflection, the Sigma female begins to notice the patterns. She realizes that love driven only by emotions can be fleeting, unstable, and sometimes destructive. She starts to see that relying solely on her heart leads to chaos, impulsive decisions, and moments of regret. That doesn't mean she ignores feelings, far from it. The Sigma female feels deeply. Emotions are her compass, not her entire map. She has learned to weigh her heart against her mind. Logic becomes a partner in love, not an enemy of passion. When she meets someone new, she doesn't just follow butterflies. She observes consistency, actions, integrity, and compatibility. She asks herself the important questions. Does this align with my values? Is this person capable of mutual respect? Does this relationship enhance my life or complicate it unnecessarily? The Sigma female recognizes that long-term fulfillment comes from balance, emotional and intellectual alignment. She's done with infatuation masquerading as love. She no longer confuses excitement for depth. She considers consequences, not just feelings, and she evaluates the relationship against her own growth trajectory. That careful consideration doesn't make her cold, it makes her wise. Her mind leads, guiding her to clarity in moments when her heart might urge impulsivity. She's no longer drawn to drama or intensity simply because it feels thrilling. She looks for steadiness, transparency, and mutual understanding. She prioritizes long-term harmony over short-term gratification. And in doing so, she protects herself from unnecessary pain while creating space for love that is both passionate and grounded. When the Sigma female allows her mind to guide her heart, she also gains insight into her own boundaries. She knows when to hold back, when to express, and when to step back entirely. Her decisions are intentional rather than reactionary. She's learned that loving recklessly is beautiful but often costly, and that strategic emotional investment pays off in deeper connection, trust, and respect. Her mind and heart work together now, not in opposition. She doesn't suppress feelings to be rational, nor does she abandon reason for emotion. She achieves a rare balance where love is thoughtful, deliberate, and deeply satisfying. And because the Sigma female has reached this level of self-awareness, her second love feels different. It's not a roller coaster of chaos. It's a steady current of passion and clarity, excitement and stability. Her choices are conscious, her heart is protected, and her love is fully hers, empowered by both mind and emotion, strong, grounded, and unshakable. Before we jump to the last reason, Sigma females, I want you to like this video if you've ever wanted to be seen just as you are, without anyone trying to fix you. Comment "seen" if that hits home, and let's continue to the final point. It's the one that really ties everything together. 6. Sigma female chooses love, not dependency. The Sigma female chooses love, not dependency, and that makes all the difference in how her relationships unfold. She's been through connections that felt like survival rather than partnership. In the past, love might have been entangled with neediness, fear of being alone, or a belief that she couldn't thrive without someone else. But over time, she's learned that true love doesn't feel like a lifeline. It feels like a complement. The Sigma female doesn't enter a relationship to fill gaps or silence loneliness. She knows that relying on someone else for her happiness is dangerous because it often leads to compromise, resentment, and loss of self. Choosing love means recognizing the difference between attraction and dependence. It's the difference between being drawn to someone because they make life richer versus clinging to someone because life without them feels empty. The Sigma female understands that dependency masks itself as love, but underneath, it's fear dressed up in longing. She has lived that fear, and she refuses to return to it. She also knows that dependency can distort the dynamics of a relationship. When one person leans too heavily on another, balance disappears, communication suffers, and respect erodes. That's why the Sigma female now insists on mutual growth and equal footing. She doesn't seek a partner to complete her, she seeks someone to grow with her. She doesn't need constant validation or reassurance. She doesn't measure affection by how often someone texts or checks in. Instead, she observes patterns, consistency, and alignment with her own standards. Choosing love over dependency is also about boundaries. The Sigma female sets them clearly, consistently, and without apology. She communicates her needs while respecting her partner's autonomy. She's learned that codependency creates unnecessary tension, whereas independent yet connected individuals thrive together. Her second love is different because she enters it fully intact. She doesn't arrive broken, asking someone to fix her. She's self-aware, self-reliant, and emotionally literate. That doesn't mean she's distant or cold. It means she loves with clarity, depth, and intention. She's capable of deep attachment without sacrificing her freedom. The Sigma female chooses love because it enhances her life, not because it fills a void. She chooses someone who respects her independence, shares values, and meets her on a level playing field. She can walk away without drama if the connection doesn't honor her essence, because she's no longer motivated by fear. This choice creates relationships that are grounded, empowering, and sustaining. Love is no longer a trap, it's a collaboration. She feels safe, seen, and cherished without surrendering her selfhood, and that's why her second love is transformative. It isn't about filling emptiness or relying on someone else for survival. It's about choosing a partner who adds to an already full life, who elevates rather than confines, and who supports a Sigma female in her complete, powerful, independent state. That's the real beauty of choosing love, not dependency. It's intentional, balanced, and profoundly liberating. 7. She learns what peace feels like. She learns what peace feels like, and that's a revelation the Sigma female never forgets. Before, love might have been chaotic, unpredictable, even exhausting. The first love often comes with fire, drama, and emotions running wild, leaving her heart drained and her mind restless. She's been through arguments that spiraled, misunderstandings that lingered, and intensity that felt thrilling at first, but suffocating over time. For the Sigma female, early love teaches passion, but it rarely teaches calm. She may have mistaken constant excitement for happiness, believing that intensity equals connection. But over time, she realizes that the chaos isn't fulfilling, it's tiring. The Sigma female begins to notice the subtle difference between drama and depth. She observes relationships where peace exists, not as a lack of emotion, but as the result of alignment, respect, and understanding. Peace isn't silence, it's presence without pretense. It's comfort without codependency. It's stability without stagnation. She learns that the right kind of love doesn't drain her energy, it enhances it. She notices that when love feels peaceful, she can breathe, think, and fully be herself. She doesn't have to mask parts of her personality to avoid conflict. She doesn't have to sacrifice boundaries for approval. She doesn't have to chase validation or control someone else's feelings. Instead, she experiences a quiet confidence that comes from being with someone who complements her life rather than complicates it. That feeling of peace is liberating because it contrasts so sharply with the turbulence of her past relationships. The Sigma female appreciates that love can exist without constant turmoil. She sees that consistency, kindness, and mutual respect aren't boring, they're powerful. Peace in love doesn't mean a lack of excitement. It means the excitement comes without fear, insecurity, or imbalance. She realizes that it's possible to feel butterflies, joy, and intimacy while also knowing she's safe, valued, and understood. That understanding changes how she engages with her second love. She no longer settles for tension disguised as passion. She recognizes that healthy love builds her up rather than tears her down. She can distinguish between fleeting thrill and lasting connection. This clarity allows her to invest in relationships that honor her boundaries and celebrate her independence. The Sigma female knows that real peace is a rare gift, and she values it deeply. When she experiences it, she feels seen, respected, and at home within the relationship. Peace doesn't make love passive. It makes it strong, intentional, and balanced. It's the kind of love that allows her to thrive without sacrificing herself. She learns that being in a relationship can be a sanctuary rather than a battlefield, and that feeling secure, understood, and aligned is far more powerful than any drama or chaos she experienced before. Peace becomes her standard, her expectation, and her right. The Sigma female's second love embodies this, proving that love can be both passionate and harmonious, fulfilling without compromise, and freeing without distance. 8. Sigma females ready to be seen, not fixed. Sigma females ready to be seen, not fixed, and that makes her second love completely different from the first. She's been through relationships where she was expected to change, to fit into someone else's idea of who she should be. Early on, she might have believed that love meant compromise to the point of erasing parts of herself, adjusting her personality, or hiding aspects of her true nature just to keep someone else happy. She may have tried to meet impossible standards, only to realize that the effort didn't create intimacy. It created distance. The Sigma female learned the hard way that being fixed by someone else never works, because the need to be fixed comes from a lack of self-acceptance, and no partner can truly supply that. In her second love, she approaches connection differently. She comes whole. She arrives self-aware, self-respecting, and unafraid to show her complexity. She doesn't need someone to rescue her or repair what's broken, because she's spent years understanding herself, reconciling her flaws, and accepting her scars. Being seen is not about approval. It's about recognition. The Sigma female values a partner who notices her nuances, acknowledges her boundaries, and honors her independence. She's looking for someone who doesn't try to control, mold, or define her, but rather someone who appreciates her as a complete, multi-layered person. Her second love is transformative because the dynamic is reciprocal. She no longer attracts partners who are drawn to her vulnerability as a project to fix. Instead, she draws those capable of genuine connection, respect, and mutual admiration. She recognizes the difference immediately. She can feel when a person's intentions are aligned with acceptance versus when they are focused on change, and she has the confidence to walk away from anyone who doesn't meet this standard. Sigma female's readiness to be seen is rooted in self-knowledge. She's reflected on her past, understood what worked, and acknowledged what didn't. She knows her value isn't contingent on someone else's perception or approval. That understanding frees her to engage in love authentically, without compromise, without fear, without pretense. Being seen allows her to relax into the relationship rather than perform for it. It allows her to express desires, communicate boundaries, and share vulnerabilities without worry of judgment or manipulation. Her second love becomes a partnership of equals, built on trust, respect, and mutual curiosity. The Sigma female can finally thrive in an environment where her essence is acknowledged, not edited. She doesn't need to be corrected, repaired, or adjusted. She simply needs to be witnessed, understood, and valued. That realization transforms her entire approach to love. She no longer fears being misunderstood because she knows that the right person will see her fully, accept her entirely, and love her genuinely. Her second love is therefore richer, deeper, and more sustaining, offering a space where she can be fully herself without compromise, where connection is built on authenticity, and where love is a reflection of mutual respect, not obligation. That's why this stage matters. Being seen, not fixed, is liberation, empowerment, and clarity combined. 9. It's her grown woman love. It's her grown woman love, and that's the difference that sets her second love apart from everything before. The Sigma female no longer approaches relationships the way she did in her youth. Early love was often fueled by idealism, infatuation, and curiosity. She gave freely, sometimes recklessly, without fully understanding her own needs or boundaries. She tolerated behaviors that didn't honor her essence, hoping the intensity of the connection would make up for the gaps. But over time, she learned that passion without wisdom can feel thrilling, yet leave lasting scars. Grown woman love is different. It is measured yet passionate. It is intentional without being forced. The Sigma female steps into this stage of love, fully aware of her value, her boundaries, and her emotional capacity. She doesn't confuse excitement with compatibility or attachment with fulfillment. She knows what she wants, what she will accept, and what she will walk away from, and she communicates it without hesitation. This love is rooted in mutual respect, equality, and authenticity. She does not seek validation from her partner because she is already validated by her own sense of self. She doesn't seek to control, manipulate, or change someone. She seeks partnership. Her priorities are clear: connection, growth, stability, and mutual appreciation. The Sigma female understands that grown woman love requires patience, reflection, and intention. It is not impulsive. It does not demand constant drama or proof of affection. Instead, it thrives in shared understanding, support, and presence. She is fully present, emotionally available, and unafraid of vulnerability, yet she is also discerning. She weighs actions over words, consistency over excitement, and alignment over fleeting passion. This perspective creates a love that is sustainable, fulfilling, and empowering. It is not perfect. No love ever is, but it is real, grounded, and respectful. Her second love is an experience where she can give fully without losing herself and receive fully without compromising her integrity. She recognizes the difference between temporary thrill and enduring connection. She celebrates intimacy, trust, and shared growth, knowing that these elements will sustain her long-term happiness far more than infatuation ever could. Grown woman love allows the Sigma female to integrate lessons from her past. She applies the wisdom earned from heartbreak, reflection, and healing. She loves more consciously, with purpose and clarity. She expects reciprocity without apology and sets standards that honor her journey and her self-respect. She no longer tolerates toxicity or chaos disguised as passion. Instead, she attracts someone equally mature, capable of commitment, understanding, and depth. This love is less about proving anything to anyone and more about embracing the connection that naturally aligns with her life, values, and emotional maturity. That's why her second love feels profound. It is not a redo of her first experience. It is not a consolation. It is a culmination of growth, self-awareness, and intentional choice. A love that reflects the Sigma female herself in all her power, clarity, and independence. This is her grown woman love, strong, steady, and fully her own. Here's the truth. Second love hits different because the Sigma female is different. She has walked through the fire of heartbreak, confusion, and disappointment, and every step left a mark that shaped her into someone stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. She has rebuilt herself piece by piece, layer by layer, learning lessons that the first love could never teach fully. Every tear, every moment of doubt, every experience of being unseen or misunderstood has contributed to her growth, refining her understanding of herself and what she truly deserves. And when someone meets her there, when her second love sees her as whole, complete, and authentic, rather than broken and in need of fixing, it changes everything. That kind of love is rare. It doesn't rush. It doesn't demand. It doesn't expect her to prove herself. It simply recognizes her value, her depth, and her unique energy. It meets her in her entirety, celebrating her independence, intelligence, and emotional maturity. This is the moment when love stops being a lesson and starts being a conscious choice. It is no longer about learning what hurts, tolerating pain, or hoping someone else will finally understand. It is about intentional connection, mutual respect, and shared growth. The Sigma female chooses to love fully because she is secure in herself, not because she needs validation or rescue. This love allows her to feel joy without fear, to be vulnerable without anxiety, and to engage with passion without compromising her boundaries. It's a love that complements her life instead of complicating it, and it nurtures her rather than challenges her for the sake of intensity. She finally understands that love can be steady, profound, and deeply fulfilling without the chaos that often characterized earlier relationships. It's not a compromise, it's a resonance, and when she experiences this, it affirms everything she's worked for: self-awareness, growth, resilience, and independence. So, yeah, second love might not have the same thrill, excitement, or drama as the first, but it offers something even more valuable: peace, clarity, and emotional maturity. It's love without pretending, without fear, and without sacrificing the Sigma female's essence. It's not about losing herself in someone else's expectations. It's about choosing someone who elevates her existing life. For a Sigma female, that's everything. The ability to love while standing tall, confident, and unshakable. This love reflects her growth, her understanding, and her intentional approach to relationships, making it far more meaningful than any fleeting infatuation or first love fantasy. Now, I'm curious. Have you experienced that second kind of love? Share your story in the comments. Someone out there is waiting to read it, to feel seen, and to relate to your journey. And if you want to go even deeper, check out my next video. It's all about why Sigma females stop chasing love altogether. Trust me, you'll relate, and it will give you even more insight into understanding yourself and your path in love. Every Sigma female deserves to see herself reflected in the love she chooses, not the love she chases. This is the kind of connection that transforms, empowers, and honors who she truly is.